Welcome class. Let us start with exercise 9C, which is based on compound interest. I will start with question number 1. Question number 1. It says a sum of rupees 8,000 is invested for 2 years. It means the principal given is 2 years. So the principal is 8,000 rupees. Time given is 2 years. And rate of interest is 10%. What you have to find is interest for the first year, principal for the second year, again interest for the second year, final amount and compound interest. Now this is the exercise where we are solving the sums for compound interest. In compound interest every year gets added to the principal. So the principal is getting increased every year. There is a formula also where it is used to find the compound interest. There are both the methods which we are going to use here today. So the first part here is finding the interest for the first year. So for interest for first year, I will write it as I1. It is PRT upon 100. So P, R and T. So upon 100. You solve 8 to the okay. Now the mistake what we normally do, therefore I wrote it as 2. Since it is compound interest and we are finding the interest for the first year, the time taken here will be 1. You can't take time as 2 years. In simple interest, we are finding the interest at the end of the complete time period given. Here we will find every year. So the time here is 1 year we will take. So 80 into 10 into 1 is rupees 800. So this is your interest at the end of, or interest for the first year. Now this interest gets added to the initial principal and that becomes the principal for the second year. So the second part is principal for the second year, which I am writing here as P2, which is 8,000 the original principal plus 800, which is equal to 8,800. 8,800 rupees. Now the third part is interest for the third year. You have to find the interest for the third year. Now for interest for the third year, the principal which is for the second year will be used, not the initial principal, because that is what is compound interest. It gets compounded every year. So the principal keeps increasing. So 8,800 is your principal here. Time you will take 1. Rate of interest does not change. It is 10 upon 100. So this becomes 880. This will become 880 rupees. Now the next part is part 4. Final amount at the end of second year. Now this compound interest is only for 2 years. So 8,800 is the principal which was used for the last year, which is the second year, and 880 was the interest for that year. So the amount is equal to principal, which is 8,800 plus 880, which will give you 9,680. And you have to find the compound interest. So the compound interest is final amount minus the principal. So the compound interest is equal to 9,680, which is the amount minus the principal, which is 8,000, and your answer is 1,680. So this is the fourth part and the fifth part. Fourth part is the final amount and fifth part is the compound interest. So this is what we do for the compound interest here. Compound interest will be the final amount minus the initial principal. Now the next question is question number 2. Question number 2. A man borrowed rupees 20,000 rupees for 2 years at 8% per year compound interest. So that will be, the principal will be here 20,000. The principal here is rupees 20,000. And the time given here is 2 years. Rate of interest is 8%. Rate of interest 8%, and you have to find the interest for the first year. Now interest for the first year is same simple formula. First year I1 is equal to PRT, which is 20,000. 20,000 into time. Remember, don't take the entire time. Time will be 1 into 8 upon 100. So 8 2s are 16. It is 1600 is your interest for the at the end of the first year. It is same as question number 1. Interest for the second year. I am doing it again so that you get a practice of the same type of sum. Interest for the second year. So for that we need the principal first for the second year. So the principal for the second year is 20,000 plus 1600, which gives you 21,600. So your interest for the second year is PRT 21,600 into R is 8 into time is 1 upon 100. So your answer will be, when you multiply, 1728. This is your answer for the second part. Third part is the final amount at the end of the second year. So the final amount is the principal, which is 21,600 plus the interest, which is 1728, which gives you, here we get 8, 2, 7 and 6, 13, 3, 1, 2, 3, 23,328. And hence the compound interest here we will get as, compound interest is the amount, which is 23,328 minus the principal, which is 20,000, and it is 3,328 is your amount. So this is your question number 2, which is. Before I start with the next question, I will give you the formula for finding the compound interest and amount. Previous 2 questions, what I have done is I have used the simple interest formula. There is a direct formula for finding the compound interest, where the formula here is amount is equal to principal into 1 plus R upon 100 raised to the power n. Now when you calculate the amount, you can find the compound interest, which is again same, amount minus principal. So this is how we calculate the amount directly by using the formula when it is compounded annually. Now R is the rate and N is the time, or you can say number of conversion periods. So I will use the formula and show it to you how to use the formula as well. So I will be doing question number 5 here using the formula. So question number 5. Question number 5 says, calculate the compound interest on 5,000 rupees in 2 years. So the principal is 5,000 rupees. Time is 2 years. If the rate of interest for successive years, there are two rate of interest for 2 years. Successive years, first is 10% and the second is 12% respectively. Now, I will use the formula here to show. Now, amount is equal to P. 1 plus here it will be 2. There are two interests, so R1 upon 100 and 1 plus R2 upon 100. Now, this is 5,000. 1 plus 10 upon 100 and 1 plus 12 upon 100. You can reduce this. The 0 and 0 gets cancelled. Here you can reduce by 4 3s are 12 and 4 25. So which will give you here as 5,000. 1 plus 1 by 10 becomes 11 by 10. So it is 11 by 10. And 1 plus 3 by 25 becomes 28 upon 25. Becomes 28 upon 25. Now we can solve this. Open the bracket. The 0 and 0 gets cancelled. We can reduce here 5 and here it is 100, 5, 2. So 20 into 11 into 28, which will give you 6,160, which is giving you 6,160 rupees as the amount. Now what you have to find here is find the compound interest. So compound interest is nothing but the principal you have to subtract from the amount, same as in simple interest. So compound interest is amount minus principal, which is amount is 6,160. 6,160 minus 5,000, which gives you 1,160 rupees as the compound interest. So this is how you can calculate using the formula directly. So whenever they have asked you at the end of the period, it is easier to use the formula. And when it is asked, like every year you have to show the interest, and every year you have to they have asked you to find out the principal and show it, then you have to use the simple interest formula. So both the formulas, or even if you want to use the simple interest formula only, you can use, but you have to be careful that you keep adding the interest every year and your principal keeps changing. So if you do that way, it's also correct. And time you will just distribute. If it is 2 years, every time you will take one year, because it is 1 year, one conversion period you are taking. The next question that I am going to do is question number 8. Question number 8. Rekha borrowed rupees 40,000 for 3 years at 10% per annum compound interest. Calculate the interest paid by her for the second year. Now they have asked you the interest for the second year, so obviously you have to use the simple interest formula. So I am using the simple interest formula. Principal is 40,000 rupees. Time they have given you 3 years for 3 conversion periods. Rate is 10%. Now it is asked at the end of second year or by the for the second year how much is the interest paid. So first we need to find interest paid for the first year, which is I1, and the principal is PRT. PRT, don't use 3, it is 1 upon 100. So interest for the first year is 4,000 rupees. So the principal for the second year becomes 40,000 plus 4,000, which is giving you 44,000 rupees. Okay, this is the principal for the second year. So now we find the interest for the second year, which is again PRT. So this principal 44,000 will be used here, into rate into time again 1 upon 100. So the interest for the second year is 4,400 rupees. 4,400 rupees is the interest for the second year. That's what they have asked you in this question. They haven't asked you the compound interest at the end of the year or the total amount. So we just do till here only. The next sum that I will start with today is question number 10. Question number 10. A man invests rupees 9,600 at 10% per annum compound interest for 3 years. So the principal here is 9,600. Rate of interest is 10%. Time is 3 years. Now what you have to find first, the interest for the first year. Simple. Interest for the first year is principal, which is 9,600 into R into T upon 100. Gets cancelled. So 960 rupees. This is your first answer, where 960 rupees is the principal. Now the second part what they have asked you is amount at the end of first year. Okay. The amount at the end of first year, so will be actually the amount will be principal plus interest. It is amount at the end of first year. So amount for the first year. The principal is 9,600 plus interest is 960 rupees, which will give you 10,560 rupees. This is the amount for the at the end of the first year. Now interest for the second year. Now if this is the amount at the end of the first year, now this will be used as the principal for the second year when we are calculating the interest. So this will be used as the principal for the second year when we are calculating the interest. So here the interest for the second year will be calculated with using this principal, which is 10,560 into 10 into 1 upon 100. So it is 1,056 rupees is the interest for the second year. 1,056 rupees is the interest for the second year. Now they want the interest for the third year. Now to find the interest for the third year, you need to find first the principal for the third year. So what will be the principal for the third year? We have to add this interest which we calculated for the second year with the principal that we used for the second year. So the principal for the third year will be 10,560 plus 1,056, which will be equal to 11,616. This is the principal. Now we have to find the interest for the third year. So the interest for the third year is the principal which we calculated 11,616 multiplied by the rate which is 10 multiplied by 1 upon 100. Once we solve this, we know it is very simple looking at it. No need to divide because it will be decimal. 1161.60. Please write 0.60. Don't end up writing 0.6. Money is always written 2 digits after the decimal place. So this will be the answer for the fourth part. So all the questions, if you see, is the same. Only thing we have to remember is not forgetting adding the interest to the principal so that we can calculate the interest for the next year. The principal keeps on increasing. So we get more interest when it is compounded rather than simple interest. So if anything is compound interest, you end up paying more interest if it rather than a simple interest. Okay. The next sum is question number 11. Question number 11. A person invests rupees 5,000 for 2 years. A person invests rupees 5,000 for 2 years. It means the principal is 5,000 rupees. Time is 2 years. And find the rate, like at a rate compounded annually. At the end of 1 year, this sum amounts to 5,600. So the amount at the end of 1 year is 5,600. We have to find the rate. This is what is given. So first we find the interest, calculate the rate of interest and amount at the end of second year. We have to find two things. So first I find the rate. For the rate, we have to know the interest first. So we have amount at the end of 1 year. So the interest at the end of 1 year is amount at the end of 1 year minus the principal, which is 5,600 minus 5,000, which is equal to 600 rupees. So this is your amount at the, this is your interest for the first year. Now when we know the interest for the first year, using the simple interest formula, we can find out the rate. So rate is equal to, we know, interest into 100. Interest into 100 upon P into T. This is the formula. So interest is 600 into 100 upon principal, which is 5,000, upon time. Now time here we don't take 2, we'll take it as 1 because it is compound interest. So cancel the zeros, 5 12s. So your rate we get here is 12%. The moment you take time as 2 years, your answer will come wrong. Now the amount at the end of second year. So for that we need to find the interest at the end of the second year. So interest at the end of second year is again PRT. P, which is the, which principal? This principal you have to take, 5,600, because that was the amount for the first year. So 5,600 into rate, we calculated 12, into time is 1 upon 100. So multiply, these gets cancelled. So your answer here is 672. So the amount at the end of the second year, which is A2, is equal to, what was the principal for first year, is 5,600 plus 672, which gives you here as 6,272 rupees as the amount at the end of second year. That's all for today.